What's up, you beautiful people? This is Gary Horn, and this is Pro Wrestling. It's the podcast celebrating the past, present, future, history, legacy, and tradition of the greatest sport of all time, pro wrestling. Obviously, so that's why we're here. And with me, as always, is it's Will. Hey, Will.
Hey, I feel like something's missing. Can't quite put my finger on it, but
really, I didn't notice anything. That's weird.
Yeah,
is there usually something else? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, Dr. Rob is with family tonight. He couldn't be there. He couldn't be here with us. So, unfortunately, we're rolling without Rob. But we hope you guys will hang with us. Kings of Colosseum is coming up in like 1 minute. It's going to be over on the MLW YouTube channel. We're going to be doing a live watch with you guys. Hopefully you pull it up and you watch it as well. I see the predictions coming in. It's exciting. I'm excited about this event. It's my first MLW pay-per-view, I guess you'd call it. So
yeah.
Yours too, Will?
Yeah, same for me, man.
It's exciting. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I've been keeping up with MLW for the first time in my life over the last few weeks. So I'm pumped for this show. And of course, everybody that follows us knows my new favorite wrestler is Hammerstone. So I can't wait to yell that when he's actually on screen for once.
You guys can watch Gary sweat when he gets on screen and he just starts getting all red faced.
Sweating while I'm trying to climb Meat Mountain.
No.
No. Nobody's climbing Meat Mountain. So
oh boy, here it comes.
Here we go.
Mine started.
Yeah, I gotta. Oh, it's an ad. Oh, now it's counting down. So
you don't have that premium.
Well, I do on my personal account, but I'm logged in right now with our account over on the MLW page, so I could do cheap plugs for this on the MLW page too. So,
well, I'm running super high tech tonight. I got my computer here with all you guys, the fam on here. I got my TV pulled up with. I'm on YouTube, but you can literally just watch MLW. It's everywhere. You see the little logo here at the bottom. They're on like every channel ever created, every platform. You can just turn around and you'll be able to see Kings of Colosseum somewhere. And but I got it pulled up on my TV. I got Gary in this ear. I got another headphone in this ear, or I got that, and I feel like I'm like a news anchor right now.
I know, it feels good. It feels good. I'm excited. Awesome. I'm excited to see all you in the chat. Wrestling with the MMA. Dr. Red's here. Anthony Wright. Who else we got in here? Roxas 79. James Gage is over there. The Nation Show's in the house. So many of you. Thanks for hanging out. And if you're not in the chat, you can be with us, or you might be over in the MLW chat, which I wouldn't blame you. I see Alicia Toots over there, so she should, she's prettier than both of us. So
tell her. Hey, it's Will said hey.
All right. Yeah. Tell her. And so, all right. This is exciting. 30 seconds away from MLW Kings of Colosseum. Who you got? We got Mads Kruger versus Hammerstone for the open weight title. And let's see. Who else? I just had it pulled up here. I know Leo Rush is taking on Myron Reed. Sorry.
Myron Reed.
Yeah. And let's see here. I'm pulling it up. Not that it matters because
pretty stacked card. Simon Gotch.
There's a Selena De La Renta big announcement apparently.
Oh, look at that! Starting out with your boy.
There he is. Just an angel.
They know who butters their bread. They know.
Look at that move.
It's the Meat Mountain. That's the money. They got Leo Rush, but they're like, nah, this is Hammerstone's.
Yeah, what I'm worried about here is I'm worried that the old Beef Castle is going to drop that title tonight because they got it
for how long?
A while. I don't know how long.
Pretty sure it's a record. I'm going to look that up. They've been talking about that. I was watching some of the promos, and they do. One of the things I love that MLW does is they do the old control center.
Oh, like
WCW used to be. So they had the Kings of Colosseum control center, and they were talking about his record-breaking title run. So I feel like he's had it for
Hammerstone's over in the in the chat. Anthony Wright, you take that back. Hammerstone does not suck. You don't mean that. Hammerstone and Alicia too are both over in the MLW chat. Not trying to encourage you to step away from here, because obviously you can see us. We're talking to you face to face. But I want to know who you guys pick. What match you looking forward to? Let us know.
How do you feel about that though? Like, not trying to start anything and talk about your boy Hammerstone, but I mean, we all know this was taped and it's not live, but at the same time, like, kind of weird him being in the chat, right? Like,
it honestly didn't even hit me until you just said it, that I was like, oh yeah, that is kind of weird that he's like hanging out in the chat.
Like drop the title and like he knew the whole, like, I don't know. It's just strange. I have a lot of grace when it comes to, suspension of disbelief and breaking kayfabe. And I recognize these guys are, they're performers and as much as they are athletes and, competitors, but I don't know. It's kind of strange. I feel like if I was him, I wouldn't want to be, in there chatting on YouTube.
I just said it in the chat. I was like, Hammerstone, do you have a match, dude?
It's real to us. All right, little tag team action here. We get to see those giant tag belts.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know if
make sure you guys subscribe if you're new to us. We'd appreciate it. It helps us out. Not that you owe us anything. We just be grateful. We do stuff like this all the time. It's fun.
Yeah.
He responded, but I had to check in with my hammerheads. That's what he said.
Well, apparently, Dr. Rob's in the chat. He said that Hammerstone retweeted our tweet about this show right here. So I had not seen that, but man, I'm excited about this tag team match. I really am. The Von Erichs, they are coming into their own, I feel like, and the stuff that I've seen from them, which admittedly isn't a lot so far, has been good. And I mean, you got a name like that. There's just so much history attached to that,
Right, exactly.
I mean, it doesn't really matter who it is. Like, you see a couple of Von Erichs in the ring, you're just like, man, this is pro wrestling, Like,
right.
This is historic. So, pretty stoked about this match. Give them a chance to show on a stage like this, what they can do. What's up, everyone in the chat? Robert Stinson is in the chat.
Welcome, Dr. Rob. We miss you, Doc.
We miss you, but we put, instead of you, we put this little Kings of Colosseum logo. So
it's almost the same.
Sorry.
Just no beard. We should have put a beard right there.
We miss you, bud. Hope you're having a good time. I think I've said this before, but I love how MLW has like the video game-esque like counter and thing at the top.
Same. If only it was like a health bar, like it was slowly ticking down.
That's what I want to look and see, because that way, if you turned on a match and it was like halfway through the match, you could look and see like who was winning.
Yeah, you gotta get an idea.
The momentum. Dr.
Red saying the Dirty Blondes are the tag team of the future. That's not a take I expected tonight, but all right, we'll take it.
I will give my judgment on that as well after this match. We'll see. The Dirty Blondes, huh? Hashtag MLW Kings. So if you guys are tweeting about that, I don't know if we put that on our tweet, but that's the official hashtag for this event. And I will say, like, I think it's so commendable and cool that, I think this is like their first pay-per-view back, right, since the restart.
Whoa.
And I love that they just made it free. Okay, I guess he's leaving.
They're just taking it outside.
A bunkhouse match, huh?
I didn't realize that's what was going on.
I didn't either.
Man, the Von Erichs look good, dude. I mean, they should. That's. I always thought they should be in NWA.
Yes, 100%.
Because they just, it just feels like that, like you were talking about earlier, that tradition. So it just, that's what you want to see.
I believe, once NWA gets back up and going, Power's back full force, I think you're going to see these guys in NWA. Just with the way everything is now, I mean, the wrestling landscape is completely changed. Everything's just more open. There's just so much more collaboration, and MLW, there wasn't a ton of crossover, but Hammerstone was on Primetime Live. So they're open, and Brian Pillman Jr. has been everywhere, so they don't hold their guys hostage. So I feel like if they can come up with a scenario to make that work, then
there you go. James Lawrence, this pay-per-view we're watching right now is on YouTube or Fubo Sports or Pluto TV. Look at the bottom down here of the screen, and you'll see it. It's like on so many different things.
Yeah.
So you can
DAZN, or as Gary calls it, DAZN.
DAZN.
It's on DAZN. Uh-oh.
Oh. And if you guys are able to go in the chat room on the MLW page, make sure you let them know about us over here, because we here too. We're not trying to steal viewers from them, but we can all watch together, right?
We're trying to add viewers like James Lawrence, who we're pointing that way. So it's a mutually beneficial partnership.
Oh, ref's gonna have to get some control here. The claw.
Uh-oh. The claw.
1, 2. Oh, that's it. I think you're a little behind me this time.
Yeah, I'm a little behind. I'm gonna go out and back in. Well, congrats to the Von Erichs. They retained.
The Von Erichs with the victory.
What an amazing match. And Dr. Red, I don't know that I was able to see enough of the Dirty Blondes in this particular bout to make a judgment, to agree or disagree with you. So.
And that match was a lot quicker than I expected from the Von Erichs, but props to them.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty stacked card, and they got several matches, and it's like an hour, right?
Yeah.
So I think there might be a couple that are quick like that. They did a good job, I will say, of making it interesting, though. I mean, they went outside, back in, interference, all kind of stuff. A lot happened in that short period of time. I mean, it still went, 7-8 minutes, I feel like. I mean,
that's true.
It
just was fast paced, so it felt like no time passed, basically.
Yeah, and when the action goes out of the ring like that, and even out of the building, then that's bound to happen. It feels like it's supposed to be longer.
All right. The finals of the Opera Cup on my screen right now, where Tom Lawler gets the win over Low Key.
Rock says in the chat, says we're like 30 seconds behind. Like, there's like a 20-second delay on YouTube streaming. So we're actually like right there with you. But by the time you see what we're saying, it's like 20 seconds later. So,
yeah, I don't really know how to fix that. I don't think there's much we can do about that. So
I think they just keep us on a delay in case, like, Rob wants to show off his manscaping and they need to like cut us before.
It's really all because of Dr. Rob. Like, I don't know how many times you guys you don't understand how much the delay helps us for censorship reasons, because he's always flashing something on this show.
He's a flashy guy.
Anthony, not a fan of the MLW tag title designs.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little too big. I am a huge fan of round belts like that, though, like the circular. I don't know. I think it's because it's a callback to, the old like WWF World Heavyweight Championship, the Eagle belt. That one always just holds a special place in my heart. And then, WCW used to have some round belts. And then big gold, whether you love it or hate it, that's more of a round belt. And so I kind of like it. But, yeah, I think they're too big, and I'm not a huge fan of the actual design. But I like the shape of it.
Yeah. How you guys feel about Leo Rush versus Myron Reed? Who you got in this one? Middleweight title up for grabs here.
I think Leo Rush needs to clean those sunglasses. Oof.
Dang, Myron Reed got some moves, huh? He looks young, too. I wonder how old Myron Reed is.
Yeah. That middleweight belt. I don't know. I like Myron Reed. I do. We saw when we watched when we were hanging out in Tennessee, we watched that episode of MLW, and I enjoyed his match and his interaction, and I like the style of his promos. He's kind of got that different, more subdued, but like very confident speaking. You know what I mean? He's kind of like on camera like this. He's just like, yeah, Leo, you're not going to beat me, so.
Oh, I'm digging this guy too. I used to immediately my first instinct was to just hate him, but he's growing on me now.
He's not growing on me. He has the potential to grow on me as a heel.
Richard
obviously.
Holiday. Yeah, he still acts like a heel is the thing. And I think that he, and you guys could probably back me up in the chat, I feel like he and Hammerstone and MJF used to all be a crew.
Yeah.
I also love that PWI helps them out here with these top 10. Yeah. That's pretty sick.
Really cool. That is cool. I'm telling you, man, MLW, I mean, so we talk about, Calvin Tankman. He's on my list.
Oh,
that dude is a force. But MLW, we talk a lot about, obviously NWA is our bread and butter. But, big on Ring of Honor right now, just because their style, their production, their presentation of their shows has just been top notch. But I mean, MLW is, I would say, a close, 3 or 4 for me, probably right there with Ring of Honor and like a AEW Dark, that kind of tier of wrestling for me. Just because their presentation's great. They're super accessible, which is a big deal. Like we joke about it, but they're literally on like every streaming platform. So you can't miss them if you're looking for them,
Right.
And that's a pretty big deal in this day and age.
It is for me, man, when I try to find like Impact.
Did you ever get to watch it?
No, I still haven't watched it. I gotta look for it again to see if it ever popped up. It just wasn't on Twitch or anywhere.
Yeah.
That must mean
your boy.
Yep. Number 1 is Hammerstone. Hammerstone.
God, you're still a little ahead of me. All right, I'm gonna switch to the Roku channel or Fubo Sports. Maybe I'll be ahead of you then.
I'll try not to get too excited too early. But the chat also, they're ahead of all of us. So
yeah, well, that's just the delay. That's just the delay on YouTube. So it is what it is. All right, what you seeing now?
Pro Wrestling Illustrated Top 10. Now it's the Coliseum. Simon Gotch, grudge match, Jordan Oliver. Am I still ahead of you?
I'm way ahead of you now. I'm seeing the tail of the tape for Myron Reed and Leo Rush.
Come on now. Don't be playing with me. I'm gonna refresh.
That's what these watch parties are really about. Who can win? Who can see stuff first? Well, the chat's going to win that because they're going to see this before.
I'm still seeing the tail of the tape now. What the hell?
Oh, I'm seeing Leo Rush come in.
I'm switching accounts. No, still. Now YouTube's just behind. What the hell? I'm jealous now.
It's all good. This is much better quality, actually. I'm on. If you have a Roku, you have an app on there called the Roku channel. It's free. And on the Roku channel is live TV. They have some like live networks, and one of them is Fubo Sports TV, and that's what I'm watching it on. And it's like full HD. It looks pretty good. I don't think YouTube was like full.
I'll go over to it. I don't care. Fubo Sports live TV.
Our viewers are dwindling. I guess they don't want to hear us talk about streaming.
Yeah, sorry. What channel is Fubo Sports TV?
It's just on there. I just scrolled down to like live TV, and it was one of the live channels.
Oh yeah, because now I see Myron Reed coming out with Jordan Oliver there.
There we go. Now we're on the same page.
Crazy. And on YouTube, it's still Leo. Crazy.
YouTube. Crazy YouTube. My one criticism here of Myron Reed is the catcher's vest, chest protector, whatever. It feels hokey. I know there's probably a story behind that. Anyone in the chat that knows, like, I think he got injured or something, or there's some story with that. I think they were alluding to it the last episode we were watching together, but I don't know what the story is. And I wish that he would go like the Roman Reigns route and have like a custom, chest protector made, because the Academy Sports blue light special is not doing it for me. Leo Rush, good to see him back, man. Always like Leo Rush.
Got some detractors. He's got some people that are for him and some that are against him, it seems like, in this other chat over here. What do you guys think out here hanging out with us? Wrestling with the MMA says he's got Rush winning this one. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Stephen P. New, by the way.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna. It's a title match, right? So, I mean, they're gonna give Rush a title, and he's not, actually part of MLW, or did he sign, or I don't know. I don't know. They're thinking behind that.
Have you got a commercial now?
Yeah, what is that about?
I don't know. Wonder if it's going to catch up now. That's weird.
Shouldn't be commercials. There's a break in the action. That's not right. Well, what do we talk about now?
I don't know. What do we talk about? I'm watching
it
over here. They're just doing a bunch of arm locks over on the YouTube page.
I hate that I'm missing those arm locks.
Dr. Red says Leo Rush is actually short. He was standing next to me on top of a table to get noticed. True story. I believe you, Dr. Red. I believe you.
Yeah, he's a small guy, man, but he is hella athletic.
Tom Lawler's over in the chat right now talking about he did not expect these two to open up on the mat because they're doing a lot of wrestling. So he says they must have been watching him in the Opera Cup. So,
I like it. Well, this is awkward. I might just go back to YouTube anyways. It's weird. Shouldn't have commercial breaks on a pay-per-view.
It is weird that Fubo just went through this whole thing. It's very odd. These guys are going. Yeah, now I think it's, I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Who's on commentary for this? Do you know? You know their names and stories?
Dude, I really can't remember. W commentary. It's Rich Boccini and Saint Laurent.
Gotcha.
You just said the name right as I said that on the.
Yeah, I just heard that. So now I know who's who. Saint Laurent.
Saint Laurent. Saint Laurent.
I like his sound. They have a kind of an old school feel for me. Just this is weird, but just like their tone of voice, like it sounds like a Larry Zbyszko or something like that from back in the WCW days. So I was always a big Larry Zbyszko fan. A living legend.
Oh, Elder Sauer is like best buddies with Larry Zbyszko.
Really?
Yeah. He's good friends with him. I can't tell which one's ahead yet. I'm watching it in two different places now. This is exciting for the viewers at home. Thanks to Third Right Wing pointing out the Rich Boccini and St. Laurent. I didn't notice that before. I'm sorry.
These guys are going at it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
I haven't seen a ton of Leo Rush matches that were this on the ground,
Right.
So he's showing his skills here.
Oh, wow. The YouTube is now way ahead of Fubo.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Well, here on,
like
I'm
that
on
dive to the outside that Leo just did was literally like 3 or 4 minutes ago on this. This is the first noticeable thing that I've been able to say, okay, that definitely already happened on the YouTube. Now they're laying in a headlock they've been in for a little while on the YouTube channel. How do you feel about pre-recorded noise?
Pre-recorded noise?
Yeah, well, there's no crowd here, but I hear some chattering. There's like on WWE, it's all piped in and stuff like that. And I don't know, but then you watch Ring of Honor, they don't have any noise whatsoever.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not super against it. I mean, I think it adds to the production and the experience if you're watching. I'm a big soccer fan, and when I watch the Premier League games from over in England, they have fake crowd noise that's just pre-recorded from past times, and they'll when the team scores, they'll turn up the cheering, and it's it gives it a cool feel. I mean, I think it would be weird if it was just quiet and you could just hear the guys kicking the ball, So I think it adds to the experience. Did anybody weigh in on that chest protector? I want to know the story.
Oh, yeah. Does anybody know the story on the chest protector? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, this has been a good flow, man. I honestly wasn't expecting this kind of match. So
yeah, like an actual wrestling match between the two of them. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I expected like some of the flying stuff, but yeah, this is.
Well, I feel like they're doing like a pretty good. They're doing that like in between these, grappling spots and floor spots, and so it's like, we'll get a dive, and then it's like they're back into a submission hold, which is kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. Why isn't the chest protector illegal? That's the question. It's like when D'Lo Brown used to wear one. It was because he had hurt himself or something, I think was the excuse.
I would just say that I hurt myself and wear like a suit of armor.
Right.
Metal
I broke
armor.
Everything. This is actually very brave of me. All of my bones are broken, so I wrestle with this suit of armor.
Myron Reed, ramping it up. Ooh. Yeah, I feel like you could stuff that chest protector with something and use it as a weapon. If he was a heel.
You're right. Oh, dang.
Ooh. Ooh. Man, we're close to 9 minutes. It's pretty.
Where are you at now? I want to make sure we're in the same place. Did you just see that corkscrew?
I'm at 9:03, 04, 05.
I don't see time on mine.
Oh, really? Oh, you don't see the timer at the top?
Oh, yeah. Never mind. I do. I didn't realize it was there. I forgot that was up there. I was looking at the bottom, and I was like, I don't see a timer.
I'm at 9:25.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we're right here with each other. Oh, Leo.
All right. Well, nobody in the chat's going to help me out. I'm going to look up Myron Reed.
I'll ask the MLW chat. Oh, fireman Gary.
Let's see. Oh, I thought I heard a 3 on that.
Yeah.
But that might have been the kick out that I was hearing. It sounded like the ref hit. Let's see. Let's see. Myron Reed is ranked number 103 in PWI's top 500.
Nice. Myron Reed, look at you go.
Mm-hmm.
I asked in the MLW chat, said, hey, we're having a talk on the watch along. Why is Myron Reed wearing a chest protector? Besides protecting his chest. Is there a story?
To protect his chest, doy.
I knew that was coming next if I left it.
Yeah, you got to get ahead of those kind of things.
According to this person, Blackout, he says there is no story behind it. He just got injured once and he wears it. So, I don't know.
Yeah. it seems like when I watch him, I feel like it would be rather cumbersome to try to wrestle in that.
It seems like it'd be very annoying because it's loose fitting, and so it seems like it goes up in his face sometimes.
Yeah.
What is going on there? He's holding on to his leg.
Yeah. Just like kick him.
What does Moth stand for?
Man of the hour.
Oh, nice. Okay. That makes sense. Like rush hour.
That is weird, but that is weird that it says moth. Moth. It's the Mothman.
Hey, man, I'm impressed with these guys. They've done great.
Yeah. Going on almost 13 minutes here. We got homeboy at ringside with no shirt on.
Yep.
I don't know why that's weirding me out. I mean, that wrestlers don't ever wear shirts, but he's just like chilling out there with like his Adidas joggers on and no shirt. Oh, that was nice.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Leo's selling good, man. He's always been a good seller. Leo looks loopy.
Wow.
Ooh.
What?
Holy cow. That was onto the straight up floor, dude. Did you see that? Okay, now he's taking it off. Okay, thank you. He lost the chest protector. He's like, all right.
That was awesome. Did you guys see that? That's crazy. Look at that. Ooh.
Oh, see. This is the kind of stuff I don't like, though, where, you know, I feel like this is where James Lawrence will agree with me. That was a devastating move onto the bare floor, and Leo Rush still had enough in him to roll away from that. Like, that's
that's tough. That makes sense. Yeah, it's he's up here now. He's up on the top rope doing stuff. It's like frog splash. Is this it? Is Leo the new middleweight champion? He is. Yep. Wow.
Holy cow.
Leo Rush.
Man, I hate that for Myron. Maybe he'll get it back.
Nice. Well, Leo Rush. That is impressive. Did not see that coming.
That's a way to make your debut in a promotion. Yeah. Go ahead and win that title.
Nice. All right. Well, props to Leo Rush, new MLW middleweight champion. Oh, James Lawrence is not a fan. I don't know, man. I get some of this move. That cutter onto the floor from the apron was wild. That should have killed him.
That's what I was talking about. Like, that's where, like, that move happened, and then he tossed him back in the ring, and suddenly Leo Rush was like, had more energy than he had the whole match.
Right.
I wonder. So I've noticed that on these post-match promos, they're always like, I think like way sweatier than they were in the match, or maybe it's the lighting. And I wonder if they like spray them down or something, and just to like give it that effect. But yeah, either way, I like that touch.
Crazy. Zicky Dice would disagree with you being the hottest free agent, Leo.
Yeah, we got to see that Zicky Dice versus Leo Rush for the MLW middleweight title.
Could see that. Oh, man. Leo Rush is fast, son. I don't know if Zicky can keep up.
I don't know what the weight class is for that, but
Hammerstone next.
Ooh. Look out, everyone. What do you think about that belt?
Hammerstone, they were just on YouTube somehow.
What do you think about that belt, Gary? The open weight.
Do you know what my thing is? Oh, they interrupted the Hammerstone promo. Contra Unit.
They're good at that.
You know what though? Okay, so my thing with the belts is I like to have a little depth in the belt.
Yeah.
And I don't like them being super flat. I mean, the only exception I'll make to that is those WWE tag team titles. I like the copper version where it was like penny colored, you know?
Yeah.
Those were kind of cool, but I like a little depth to them.
I liked them before they split, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Because they weren't red. Wasn't it like brown with like the copper, or was it red with the copper? Before,
you know, I can't remember. Or was it? Yeah, it might have been black with the copper. It feels like
black with the copper would look dope. Let me see. WWE Tag Team Championship. Yeah, I definitely don't like the red and blue that they have now. Yeah, it was black. That was it.
Yeah. See, I was okay with those.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I was a fan of that belt. Let me see the MLW open weight. I know we just saw it, but I want to look at it a little closer. This is what you get over here. If you're new, we're all belt nerds. So
yeah, a bunch of belt nerds.
If you like belt talk, hit that subscribe button.
Steven,
so here's a little closer look. I kind of like it, to be honest. I think,
well, that picture, it looks pretty sweet actually, but yeah, I hate it being as flat, you know, but it actually does look cool with that picture.
I don't necessarily like the side plates, how they cut in. Like I don't really like that.
Yeah,
but I like the design of the buckle part, the face plate.
Hey, Selena De La Renta. I agree, James Lawrence. The NWA tag belts look better than anybody's. I'm with you.
100%. They're definitely my favorites. Classic, prestigious, simple. Gary, we might have had this conversation before. What's your favorite belt of all time?
I feel like we kind of have had the discussion, but I can't remember what I would have said. I probably...
You can't say the 10 pounds of gold.
Well, that one's obviously up there now, but my favorite, otherwise, maybe I always dug the Intercontinental, the original, the one that Cody brought back.
Yep.
You know, with especially he added the white leather, but
Sorry, Gary, what were you saying?
There you go. That one. So yeah, that one. I always loved that belt.
This is just a toy. I don't have the real. This is from like Walmart. Oh. But this was mine too, man. When I see this belt, I think of Kurt Hennig. I think of even the Ultimate Warrior. His was yellow. I think about Stone Cold, Owen Hart, The Rock, Scott Hall. I mean, it's a historic belt, man. I don't know that I can ever fully embrace the new design just because I love this one so much. But,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I always hated it when they I liked the Winged Eagle belt, and then they switched to that one flatter version. I never liked that one. I remember the Universal title looking okay when it first came out, but it never stuck around long enough. The Intercontinental title had a lot behind it, you know, like it had just like all these great people held it, like all the way through. Like, I mean, with like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Roddy Piper and like just a lot of people, Mr. Perfect, of course. And like, it was just like all these awesome people. It was like the workers' belt, you know?
For me, it's always Mr. Perfect, man. It's always Kurt Hennig. Like, Fight TV loves to put out those tweets. It's like, what's the first thing you think of when you see this?
Right.
And if it's this belt, it's always Kurt Hennig for me. It's just seeing him in his his bright yellow get up with this belt on. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. Well, I guess Contra and
so I guess we're not getting the Jordan Oliver match with Simon Gotch.
So they're gonna
unless that's the main event, which doesn't make any sense. So
no. Is it just me, or does Hammerstone have like different hair every time you see him?
It does feel that way.
Like sometimes I don't recognize him. Retribution, get it?
The Black Hand of Contra. He's a big boy.
Yeah, he is. It's interesting what they've done with their set here. It's obviously not very big, but it doesn't feel like it takes away at all. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have a big screen. Like, even that independent show we went to in Grimsley, Tennessee, I mean, they had a big screen and projector and lights and stuff. It was a bigger place than where they're doing this.
Right.
Bigger production, but I feel like they're doing the best, making this look kind of pretty badass, I think.
Oh,
they're nice.
Hammerstone!
Oh, he's got America pants. He's wearing America pants, Gary.
America. Oh, he came right in with. Oh, can you do that?
I don't think the bell's rang yet. There it goes. How do you wrestle in like a leather mask?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he does.
Meat Castle. Meat Castle. I thought it was Meat Mountain.
Yeah, it is. It's supposed to be Meat Mountain and Beef Castle. Yeah.
He said Meat Castle. Yeah, he really is like the quintessential wrestling guy. Like, you just look at him, especially with those stars and stripes on his pants. Like,
I was literally about to say, just look at him. He's like major Hulk Hogan vibes without the racism.
Without the racism. 20 count, so they get a 20 count. I think I knew that, but I'd forgotten. You got any opinions on that, Gary? 20 count versus 10 count?
I just realized from watching Ring of Honor this week that they also utilize the 20 count. I don't think I'd ever realized that before. But it's good this week, by the way. Ring of Honor, there's the Jay Lethal and Mark Haskins, I think is his name, match. But yeah, they talk about the 20 count because they're both outside the ring. And it was apparently started with the pure rules, but now it's like, I guess in every match, like there's a 20 count there. But no, I don't think I necessarily have any strong feelings either way on if it should be 10 or 20. I'm used to 10, but 20 seems reasonable. They James Lawrence doesn't like it, I figure, traditionalists, but it feels like they always find a way to stay out that long anyway. So,
well, that's what I was going to say. I don't mind a 20 count if they make it consistent. If it's to give them, an extra minute or so out there. Like, what always gets me is, you're doing the 10 count, 1, 2, and you get up to like 8. You're like, 8,
right?
9. It's like obviously slows down. It's like if they need more time, just change it to 20 count. Keep it consistent. Yeah, I don't have a super strong opinion. I think it's another one of those little nuances that helps kind of differentiate some of these promotions from everyone else. Yeah, I agree with you on that, James Lawrence. The AEW 10 count for the tag is too long.
Yeah,
that's one of the rules I'm not a fan of. The rule where if you come in and you're not tagged in, you got 10 seconds. I don't really. That doesn't vibe with me, especially if they don't really enforce it.
Right.
The other guy coming in is part of tag team wrestling. That's coming in for the save, interfering. Like, that's a fundamental part of tag team wrestling. There's no need to put a 10 count on it.
It'd be nice to see somebody actually get disqualified every once in a while for some of that
Yeah.
stuff. Like not breaking on 5 or.
Has there been a DQ finish in AEW? I remember when they first started. I remember when they first launched. I mean, it was the first couple of months, and it was like, we're so used to seeing DQ finishes on WWE that we realized there hadn't been any, and I can't recall any off the top of my head. Screwy finishes, interference finishes.
Yeah, they were gonna try to like keep it, like clean, like pinfalls and stuff like that. I remember, so they tried to avoid like DQs. I'm trying to remember if there ever has been one.
Or even a count out. I don't remember a count out either. Of course, I haven't seen like every second of AEW, so I'm not like the expert on it.
Yeah, interesting.
Uh-oh.
We got trouble.
What was that?
That's whole Contra Unit.
Contra, they're coming in. So I'm Googling it. People on Reddit saying that AEW needs more DQ finishes. Can't believe people would actually argue that. Here we go. Okay. So this was from back in December. Nearly a year into its debut, Dynamite / AEW has only had one DQ finish, 2 time limit draws, and 1 non-finish that was a double countout. The DQ happened during the Kenny Omega Iron Man match. Pac needed an advantage for a near fall. Oh, I remember that. See, it was in a... Did it cut off?
They threw out the match. They just wouldn't stay in the ring, and they ran out, and so they threw out the match, I guess.
Was that the end?
And that was the end of the show.
It just ended. Oh, now it's us. I see us now. It immediately took me to... So we got a non-finish as we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'll finish my statistic then for AEW since it's relevant now. They've had one DQ finish, and the DQ was in a best 2 out of 3 falls where Pac used it to, I guess, hit Kenny Omega with a foreign object. So he basically sacrificed one fall to get an advantage. So the one DQ finish as of like December was something that like made sense in the storyline. There's been a couple of time limit draws, Cody and Darby. I remember that one. And then Moxley and Pac on Dynamite. The double count out happened on Dark. So yeah, literally that's like everything else has been a clean finish on AEW.
Yeah, that's some crazy timing, man. All right. Well, folks, you're joining. This is Gary Horde, and hey, it's Will live right now. We're doing a recap show for Kings of Colosseum that just took place. We just watched it live with some of our friends in the chat, and wow, there was a lot to like in that show, and then that ending I'm not sure I was a fan of. So let's go ahead and jump in and talk about it. Will, how'd you feel about what you just saw, or should we go overall and work our way through it? I don't even know what to do here.
Yeah, I'm a little taken aback too. We're doing this like immediately after the show ended, and if you watch the show, it was a very abrupt ending. I was actually looking at my phone because I was looking up some stuff, and then the screen just went off. So I'm not even sure what happened. So I think that was a little questionable. Overall, the show was good. We got some good matches, a nice solid hour of pro wrestling, some title matches and things like that. So overall, it was an enjoyable show.
Well, if you're new here, this is Pro Wrestling. We are at TIPW Pod everywhere. If you're brand new, we hope that you will go ahead and click on subscribe. We're going to talk about a little bit briefly here. We know AEW is coming up. You guys have NXT and Dynamite to watch, so you want to jump over there. So we don't blame you. We get it. But if you just watched MLW Kings of Colosseum like we did, we're just going to talk about it briefly. So we'd love for you to jump in the chat here and let us know what you thought. So I guess we'll just run through this thing and talk about each part of it and work our way up. The Von Erich started us off going up against the Dirty Blondes, and this match was fun. It went all over the place, and even outside the nightclub, using stools and everything. The Von Erichs look awesome. Dirty Blondes look like a classic old NWA tag team or something. And anyway, the Von Erichs retained after a big claw and then the slam. So what'd you think about that one, Will?
I thought it was great. I'm a huge, obviously tag team wrestling fan. So I was excited to see a tag team title match on the card. It did feel short, and we talked about that as we were watching it. I think it felt short because they were in and out of the ring. And, when a match spills to the outside, which in this bunkhouse match is legal, obviously, it feels like it's going to be a longer match. So I think because it was all over the place, it felt shorter than it really was. I think it was about like 7 or 8 minutes. So, I mean, it was still a pretty substantial match, but, Von Erich's coming out with the win, and just another reminder, that I'd love to see the Von Erichs in NWA on Power, man. I feel like those guys would fit right in. Same thing with the Dirty Blondes. I mean, I admittedly didn't get to see them enough to really formulate an opinion about them, but that's 2 tag teams that I really feel like, not to make everything about the NWA, but if you listen and watch us, that's kind of our first love. So that's what I think, and I think those are 2 great classic tag teams, and it's a good match.
Yeah, it went by really quickly. Just a fast-paced match. So very, very cool. Like those guys. Then we got our promos from Leo Rush and Myron Reed, which was cool. Despite not being like, I would say, the heaviest build match, although it was up there, this one seemed to get the most time on the show, I would say. Yeah. Before we went there, we did get the top 10, Will, and we were talking about that during the show. We like the top 10 concept. PWI even incorporated in there, and it's like the PWI MLW top 10. And I forgot to write down everybody. I got like number 7 was ACH, then Richard Holiday, Myron Reed at 5, LA Park, Low Key, then Tom Lawler, then Hammerstone. rankings. But just a cool concept to have those rankings, I think.
Yeah, I like that. I like the tie-in with PWI as well. I mean, that's, if you're a wrestling fan, there's a lot of, whether you like PWI or not, or think it's like a credible source in 2021 for wrestling news when you've got the internet, but it's just a classic throwback for me of that journalistic tie-in of rankings. And we talk about it all the time. I mean, we're kind of sick and Rob on building some kind of ranking system for us, like a universal ranking system where we can, kind of have our own top 10 list, maybe of cross promotional guys. So I like that they do that. I think that's a cool touch. And, I guess, is it a consistent thing? I don't watch it regularly enough to know if that's like every week they do a top 10, or is it every pay-per-view, or I don't know if you know.
I don't know. Actually the top 10, I feel like I saw it last week too, so maybe it is an every week thing they do that. Okay. Yeah.
Calvin Tankman.
He was
there. That was the standout for me. That's one guy that I've got my eye on in MLW. But Hammerstone with that number one spot, and Gary was popping for that. So that was pretty cool.
Hammerstone. No, love Hammerstone. Like I said earlier, he's giving off Hogan vibes without the racism. So love that. Love that about Hammerstone.
That should be his. Hopefully, he'll make that his Twitter bio.
Probably will.
Hopefully he'll give you credit for it.
Then we got Lio Rush versus Myron Reed. Will, this match blew me away. I don't know what I expected, but these two guys took it to each other for that middleweight title. Lio Rush hitting the frog splash at the end and getting the 1, 2, 3 and becoming the brand new MLW middleweight champion. How'd you feel about that one?
It was cool, man. And you mentioned earlier, this match getting the most time. I do think that strategically they were doing that because, Leo is a former WWE guy. And so thinking, I'm a marketing guy. So if you're thinking marketing, you're thinking who's gonna put butts in seats or eyeballs on screens. And it's going to be somebody like Lio Rush, just because he's got that recognizability from mainstream wrestling. So, I mean, if you noticed, even on YouTube, I noticed like in the title, they listed Lio Rush first. So it said MLW Kings of Colosseum, had a line, and it said Lio Rush versus Myron Reed, Hammerstone versus, So I think it was definitely intentional to give those guys the spotlight and let them shine. And I think they did. My one criticism, first of all, congrats to Lio Rush. That's awesome. You make your debut, you win some gold. Not a bad way to break into a promotion. But my one kind of beef with this match is the lead up to the finish. So we saw a pretty devastating move from the apron to the outside on Lio Rush. What was that? It was like
a cutter. Yeah, like he went over the
cutter stunner type thing and to the bare floor from the apron. And it was a big deal. And I mean, the commentary was selling it. We were selling it. And we were just like, oh my gosh. And then, he tossed Leo back in the ring, tried to pin him or tried to do a move off the top rope in the corner. And Leo rolled out quickly. And then Leo went on the attack and ended up winning it with the frog splash. And it's just one of those things. And, this is just our style, our history with wrestling. That kind of no sell of a big move like that, where the big move is done. And like, honestly, you should be knocked out, like that should have been it. But he immediately gets back up and reverses stuff and goes on the offense and wins the match. So that would be my only criticism. But again, it's 2021, things have changed, and that's a lot more common than it used to be. So again, congrats to Lio Rush. I think that was a cool debut, and it's cool to see him back in the ring, and doing what he loves. He's good at it. So
yeah, we saw him briefly on Primetime Live. If you guys watched UW in Primetime Live, he was on there. But yeah, man, I mean, it is when you said it stood out to me. You and James Lawrence in the chat, obviously. talking about that, and I guess I'm desensitized to it. It didn't even stand out to me right away. I was just like, oh, cool move. But you're right. I mean, it should have, like, that would have been a it's funny because I was watching Raw the other day, and from this past Monday, and I was just thinking how when Randy Orton, he was facing like Jeff Hardy, and he did the that second rope where he drags him through and does the DDT, and I was like, what a devastating move that looks like. Like, that should be the end of a match. Yeah. It's not, and it's funny that I was thinking of it then and didn't even think about it with that cutter for some reason, but. Anyway, very good match though. I did like both of them, the back and forth. A lot of wrestling. I guess I just didn't expect that much like ground wrestling and stuff. But whatever. That's good for them. They got it.
Yeah. So just to offer a counter suggestion, counter proposal. If you're gonna do a spot like that, I love that, but make it further from the finish. You know what I mean? Like, don't put it right up against the finish like it was. Put it in the middle of the match and tell a story where both of them are kind of recovering from such a devastating move that, then it's believable when Lio Rush suddenly gets a burst of energy. But, it's just, to me, it's just wrestling 101, and it's something that's not observed a lot these days, unfortunately, and just a criticism. But, it's a great match.
James Lawrence saying in the chat, he's PWI has to accept the NWA World Championship as a world title before I will acknowledge them. So there, his feet are firmly planted.
Yeah, good point.
Wouldn't expect any less from James Lawrence. But moving along here, I see Easy Shippenden in the chat too, asking what happened. Jordan Oliver versus Simon Gotch didn't even happen. Well, it's funny you ask because that's where we're at right now in the review. So Leo wins that match, and then we get some announcements from Selena De La Renta. She's going to run a show next week, is what they said, and she's making a match with Los Parks versus the Von Erichs for the tag team titles. That's next week. The week after that, they're having a match with ACH and Jacob Fatu. I assume that's a world title match. So, 2 back-to-back title weeks. That's going to be fun. And but anyway, Myron Reed is getting interviewed in the back, and Jordan Oliver is with him, of course. And then Contra Unit just jumps the both of them and beats the hell out of them and drapes a flag over them. So I guess that is what happened with Jordan Oliver and Simon Gotch, and just Jordan Oliver was unable to proceed to the match.
Well, here's my thing. Didn't they add that match last minute though? Like, wasn't that? I think the last episode of.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's like, why even add it if you're gonna take it away? Don't promise it and then take it away from us, man.
Well, that almost feels like the story of the night in some ways, like these last two. But yeah, I'm with you. I generally do not agree with booking something you're not going to provide. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Don't advertise something that's not going to happen. And then, so that leads us into Alexander Hammerstone versus Mads Kruger Hammerstone. And these guys started off great, right? They just like whipped straight at Hammerstone, just nailing him with the belt, and then they just start going at it. Now, there was some backstory here where Mads Kruger had attacked Hammerstone previously, so there's obviously some anger going on there and aggression. But the long and short of this one is they just wrestled around and the referee couldn't keep control. They went outside, went all over the place, and went up the stairs, and they just threw the match, and that was it. I didn't catch exactly how long it was, but it had to be like 5 or 6 minutes, it feels like. And
well, and it ended early. I mean, I guess like it's streaming, so they don't have like a time limit. You can put whatever you want on YouTube for as long as you want, but it was even like 5 till 8 here. So, they didn't even go a full hour. So, I mean, it is what it is. Maybe they're looking to tell a longer term story, but I feel like if that's what you're going to do, you can toss that Simon Gotch match back in there. Or something, like you can fill that 5 minutes, or you can give us a finish. I don't know. Don't put it at the end. because it was very jarring because we jump on and start this recap and it's like my head's still spinning because I was in Beef Castle land, and then it was just taken from me. So
well, the interesting part is you guys, you were in a conversation that was going on in the chat too, just about just non-finishes to matches, ironically enough, at the time that this happened. And so,
I was looking up some statistics about AEW because I had just had the realization that I couldn't really remember any DQ finishes or non-finishes besides like a couple of time limit draws. And so as I'm looking that up, and then I find it and I'm talking about it, and then I notice my TV goes black, and I was like, so I didn't even like see the context for it because I assumed like we had another 5 minutes and I had time to look something up and get back into the match. But yeah, it was kind of
jarring. I mean, I just think you wouldn't have known except the commentary like mentioned in the last second. I picked up on it when your little copyright symbol pops up down in the bottom left or whatever, and I was like, oh, this is wrapping up. So interesting. I will say that I was disappointed with that. Now, do I think it's for longer term storytelling? Yes. I wish there was a finish to the match, but I kind of thought that going into it. I was wondering, that was one of my big discussion points was like, wow, they've built up to this match. This is going to be pretty interesting. Like, how are they gonna do this? Because I don't think you want to kill Mads Kruger off yet because he's like an unstoppable monster right now. And Hammerstone's the hottest thing going in MLW, it feels like most times. So what do you do here? Are you going to have him drop the open weight championship? I thought they had an out because I thought Contra Unit, right? Like maybe they do throw it on Mads Kruger. Maybe they cost him that. Somebody in the MLW chat even threw in having Contra start to interfere, but then Myron Reed and Jordan Oliver show back up and like get into it with them and Hammerstone somehow a bit out of that or something, some kind of kerfluffle there at the end. But instead they just went to the two of them battling it out, and it's cool. I want to see them again. It's just I don't know, when you get the Simon Gotch Jordan Oliver match thrown out, and then this match ends up in a non-finish. I mean, there was only one real, the Von Erichs and Dirty Blondes was fun, but it was also a very quick match that you had. I mean, it was really built around Leo Rush versus Myron Reed, which was a great match, but I don't know. That took it from up here for me to kind of more centered in my feelings of it. And I just don't know. I wonder if that's the show that, say there are a lot of brand new fans to MLW, is that going to be enough to keep them? And that's what I'm curious about.
Well, I'll say this because I'm kind of in that boat. I've watched a couple episodes of MLW. You and me and the good doctor watched an episode when we were hanging out in Grimsley, Tennessee a couple weeks back. And it's really enjoyable. It's an enjoyable product. This pay-per-view, first of all, it was free, streaming literally everywhere.
Worth mentioning, great point.
Which is like, listen, I will complain about a free meal if it completely sucks, but this was like the equivalent of like, that was a good meal. It's just like the last thing I ate just wasn't my favorite thing on the plate. So I think I wouldn't say that it like pulled me in a level. Like I'm not coming out of this like more of an MLW fan. But I'm definitely still into MLW and looking forward to continuing to follow some of these storylines. I think they've built up enough interest. I mean, I want to see what Leo Rush does next. I want to see more of the Von Erichs and the Dirty Blondes. I don't feel like that book is completely closed because that match was just so, it went from brutal to over very quickly. And then obviously, the finish, if nothing else, it left you wanting more. And so I'm definitely interested to tune in to see how this whole rivalry with Kruger and Hammerstone turns out. So I think overall, I mean, it it kept me, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say that it pushed me away in any way, but it didn't like make me suddenly a diehard MLW fan.
Certainly, that's an excellent point, Will. I'm trying to be on the positive side of things, and I can't believe that even slipped by me. But you made a great point. That it's free. It's a free show for you to watch. So it's hard to complain too much. It was a solid show overall.
And I think they're taking a page out of like AEW and NXT. Well, AEW's playbook that NXT is copying already. But this idea, of taking your weekly show and just kind of having a super card, right? So they put 3 title matches on, they branded it differently. And I really like this fad that I really think AEW kind of started, where they'll just, instead of doing a pay-per-view every month like WWE does, they just, once every 6 to 8 weeks or something, they take a regular Wednesday night show and they brand it as a super card, a pay-per-view. It gives you something to look forward to. And so this feels like MLW's attempt at doing something like that. And if that's the way I look at it, then I think it was a really successful show. They gave us 3 title matches on a 1-hour show. They pushed some storylines forward and left me wanting a little more. So, I would say it was a success if I look at it that way.
I tease that Mads Kruger Hammerstone match so they can bring you back in for a pay-per-view later if you want to see more of those 2 guys going at it, maybe with like no DQ or no count out, that kind of thing. It actually makes storyline sense for a match like that to happen now. I could see it that way. I still wonder if it brings new viewers in or not, but I'm curious. We'll turn to the chat here for a minute. If you guys want to talk before we wrap this thing up, we know we got big shows on tonight, so we're obviously not going to take up all the time there. A lot of PWI discussion here, but how do you feel about Mad G27NY talking about they need national TV, just like Ring of Honor and NWA, just regular weekly TV?
Does NWA have national TV? I mean, they're on YouTube.
Well, I think he's saying that they all need that, like Ring of Honor, NWA, and MLW.
Sorry, I was just like,
I said it a little weird.
I mean, we talked about this a little bit on Sunday on the show, but I don't have TV, like traditional TV. I have streaming services and a streaming box on all my TVs, and that's how I watch stuff. So for me, I prefer it if it's on YouTube, that's for wrestling content. That's going to be the primary way I take it in. So that was how I was watching Power. Obviously, that's how we were all watching Power, or Fight TV. So the Fight TV is how I watch Ring of Honor. YouTube for NWA. MLW is weekly on YouTube as well. What else is on YouTube? There's been a few things. I mean, this was on YouTube tonight, but yeah, I mean, I don't really know how much having like a weekly national TV deal would help them. I mean, I don't know where they'd go and what they would do with it. I feel like they're gaining enough ground with YouTube, right? I mean, everybody's got YouTube. If you got a phone, you got YouTube. So that's the most accessible platform.
That's always how I feel, man. But it never fails. I see that discussion happen, even with like NWA Power and stuff. Like I always saw that conversation come up where people would say they need regular TV. And I don't know. I get it in the sense that get more exposure. I suppose there's no arguing that there's potentially more exposure as far as it's like, like AEW and NXT, like getting close to 1 million viewers. Like maybe that's not going to happen on YouTube, although potentially it could. I mean, it does happen. But
yeah, it's an interesting conversation just because, I mean, there's definitely been a shift in trends, but if we are to believe that the ratings are accurate and the viewer counts, which I don't know how they can be like super accurate, but I mean, that's a lot of eyeballs on wrestling on Wednesday nights. And yeah, I mean, I think it could help them. I think from my perspective, from my point of view, like I don't even have TNT, right? I don't have TNT or USA.
Same.
So I mean, I have my ways of watching, but it's like if it's on YouTube, it's way more accessible to me. So I think, you know, it's there's a shift happening, and I think MLW's on the right track with all their partnerships, and they're, you know, they stream free on several different platforms. We joke about it all the time. So if you want to watch it weekly, if you want to watch Fusion, it's accessible. But I guess for the crowd that does, you know, still have cable, if it came on live on a channel, it might be a little more exciting. I can see that point.
Yeah, I was just checking it out just to see where we're at as far as like viewership on some of the NWA shows, and by far the largest one is still NWA Power Episode 1, and it's like close to like 700,000 views. And but they're all in 6-digit territory. All the episodes of Power, Shockwave Episode 4 is at 103,000 views, and that's within 2 weeks. So, you know, I mean, YouTube's getting them eyeballs to work. But yeah, just to be blunt, like as far as watching, I watch it through. I typically am watching. I have Hulu, so I watch Raw and SmackDown. When I watch SmackDown, I watch them on Hulu, and I watch NXT sometimes there. Sometimes I have the network, so I'll watch it there if it shows up in time. I don't have TNT, but my father-in-law has cable, and so I use his login to log into the TNT app on Roku. That's what I do, and I watch Dynamite that way. But anyway,
I'm telling on you. I'm calling TNT right now.
Call them right now. I'm sure they'll care. And
Ted Turner, please tell him it's Will. He doesn't own TNT anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how much. I mean, I get it. You do feel like it gets more exposure. It's obviously in front of more eyeballs. As much as I cut the cord many years ago, but as far as the rest of the world, I mean, there are still people that just have television. I mean, David Marquez, when he's on the show, always talks about that, getting Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. I watched that on Fight TV. I watched it today. And Ring of Honor on Fight TV. But he always talks about being on 300 plus channels, and that means something to them. So that's I mean, it obviously
it does. It still does. I mean, I'm talking from my perspective. I mean, if you're talking globally and even just nationally, you know, there's, you know, millions of people that still watch television. So it would no doubt put you in front of more people, and more people would watch it. So yeah, I see the point from that perspective.
Yeah, the one that's a pain in the ass for me, just to be honest, is Impact. They drive me crazy. I want to watch them. I'm trying to watch them. I want to get into them and love them, and have another wrestling show that I like. And they have, like, besides that episode right after Kenny Omega, or like the first one that Kenny Omega was on, it's been impossible. I know I see you, Matt G, in the chat saying that you watch them on Access TV, but I don't have Access TV. So my only options are Twitch live, apparently. And if you don't watch it live, you can't watch it later. It feels like I just checked it again, and it's still not there. So I don't know what you're supposed to do, except Impact Plus, I've been told, has them a few days later. So I guess you could do something like that, but then you have to just pay for Impact. So that requires a commitment right up front that you're like, I hope I like this. And it's I don't know. It just feels more difficult to watch than any other show right now. And
if you watch, I mean, if you watch live on Twitch, which I've done a couple of times, it's great. It's a great experience. And I see Matt G in the chat asking what's wrong with Impact. Nothing is wrong with the product. Every time I've watched it, I've liked it. It's just the accessibility online to it. Because to Gary's point, like, unless you watch it live, if you don't have cable and you don't have Access TV and you're watching it live and you don't have DVR, or anything like that, and you're going and trying to find it after the fact, it's not easy to find. Whereas everything else, MLW premieres on YouTube, and you can go watch it right after, anytime. It's easy to go find. NWA Power was the same way. I mean, so it's really just about the accessibility of it. It's nothing's wrong with the product. I actually, when they crank things back up, what was that, a couple months ago, I got really excited about it. I watched that first episode back, and I watched it live, and I enjoyed watching it on Twitch. But it's one of those things where it's like, there's so much wrestling that goes on during the week, and like, I don't ever watch Ring of Honor like when it premieres on Fight TV. I usually watch it the next day or on Wednesday. So it's really just that accessibility to watch when you want that I don't think Impact has a handle on yet. But if they can get a handle on it, I feel like I'll be watching a lot more Impact.
Yeah, sure. Like that's basically my point. I want to watch Impact is the thing. I want to see it. I want to, like, I'm in a position right now. Like, I watched Wrestle Kingdom this past weekend. Like, I've watched Raw. I started watching Dark. I just watched MLW. I've already watched Ring of Honor this week. I'm working from home, so like, I'm finally in a position like I can watch all of this stuff. Like, I'm in. Like, show me your wrestling. I want to see. I want to find out and really for myself see which one I like the most. Yeah, show me your wrestling.
That needs to be I'm jotting that down. I might make a shirt. Check out our online store. You might find a "Show Me Your Wrestling" shirt.
Show me your wrestling. You can visit nwafam.com or nwafam.com/shop. There we have shirts. It's really cool shirts, actually. I still got to get some of those real pro wrestling shirts.
Yeah, we got real shirts that say "Real Pro Wrestling" for all you fans of real pro wrestling, like James Lawrence and the like. And we've got some shirts that say "History, Legacy, Tradition." Past, present, future, history, legacy, tradition, I think is your catchphrase. So yeah, a bunch of cool stuff on there. Go check it out.
Maggie, I see what you're saying about Twitch on Impact, but that was actually my point, though, is like you have to watch it live and then it's not available on demand afterwards. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't see Impact live on Tuesday night, so I've been trying to watch it all day and it's not there. It's not on Twitch. So I can't see it. And I don't know where I would even go to watch it. And yeah, Craig S. brought up earlier that conversely interesting, it's readily available on broadcast television in the UK. And Ring of Honor no longer airs in the UK on broadcast, so you'd have to watch it on Fight or something. But to me, Fight's easy because it's just an app on the Roku. I just click on it and then click on the show I want to watch, and that's just simple. But anyway, one last question before I see if Will has anything else. Who asked me? Rock asked about McIntyre versus Lee. That was a great match. It legitimately is a good match, and so. I haven't been able to do the fast count yet for this week, but I will, if assuming I get to do it, I will praise Drew McIntyre versus Keith Lee. It legitimately is a really good match. That ending, I don't know, but I
like how the question was directed at you, because I think our audience knows that I didn't watch it. So just to direct that straight to Gary, direct your WWE question straight to Gary. He's the one that kind of takes one for the team for all of us and keeps up with that.
Well, I'll tell you what happens is I get Raw in, but like the SmackDown, I got to just have some downtime in the weekend where I'm going to watch it, and that hasn't been happening. So I've been missing SmackDown. NXT and Raw, I get. But anyway, we'll see what happens with this Goldberg thing. But even that, by the way, I'm trying to stay positive. Didn't hate the Goldberg stuff as much as a lot of people seem to online. But Will, MLW, anything else on your mind right now before we wrap this thing up?
No, it was a fun show. Thanks to everyone for hanging out. I felt like there was something I was going to say or promote or talk about. Oh, join our Discord. Our Discord our Discord server is growing, and it's been really cool. We've got channels in there for pretty much any promotion that we talk about. So you can hop in there and chat about it. We've got channels for music and books and all that kind of stuff. So we've got a growing community of wrestling fans who enjoy having intelligent, civil conversations about wrestling, because you can't really find that on Twitter anymore, because things have gotten so toxic over there. So if you want to be a part of community, there's head on over to our Twitter page at TIPW Show. And I believe there's a pinned tweet, if it's still there, that will link you to our Discord. So come join us. It's a lot of fun.
It is still there. Yeah, definitely check it out. We'd love to have you in there and just talking about wrestling. Conversations always going on about, there's channels for every single brand. So whatever you want to talk about, bring it up. And to show you just how positive we remain and how much of a grudge we don't hold, I will point out that Rock says 79 says, LOL, Gary said on Sunday that he doubted any match on Raw would be worth watching. And so
holding you to the fire.
Yep, holding me to the fire. And I will admit that I was wrong. I was wrong. McIntyre versus Keith Lee is a pay-per-view level main event for Raw. It is very good, clean finish. It's a great match. So the two of them brought it. I was very impressed. Mad G, I'm all for MLW. That's a great way to wrap this thing up. MLW still staying strong after tonight. We'll see what happens in the weeks to come. Until then, I am at This Is Gary Horde. That's at Hey, It's Will. There it is. We thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We know your other shows are on, so we're going to let you go. Thanks for doing this recap show with us, so it gives our podcast people something to listen to. Follow us at TIPW Show on everything. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on the podcast feed stuff too. That's all good. And tell your friends that like wrestling that we exist, because we want more people to listen and watch and grow the thing, the community. All right. Anyway.